All right, guys, welcome back to the Philly Escape Pod, episode number 30, Big 3-0, and football is officially back. The Eagles are officially back. Week 1 is in the books. We got a lot to talk about this game. I'm assuming that everybody here is going to have a bunch of different takes on what they saw on the offense and defense side of the ball. But the Eagles are 1-0. I think it was we all expected. Lions did put up a fight. I think it was the scoreboard said it was a little closer than the game actually was. Um, but I just want to hear your guys' immediate thoughts on the game. Just break it down a little bit for me. How about
Are
you
you
go first,
asking for
Jackson?
just a small little take from the
Yeah, just
game?
a small recap.
Small recap, I
I have,
guess. I would probably say Jalen Hurts looks good. Still not convinced I want to pay him for the full season, but that's not due to his play. Um, that's just my ideas of running a team. I think the team looks great. Offense looked better than defense. I'm a little sus on our run defense specifically, and I don't know. A little closer than I was expecting. I'm glad to get the win.
yep, I like that. How about you, Harsher?
Yeah, I think AJ Brown was as advertised. He's exactly what we needed on
Oh yeah,
that side of the ball. He's what we cried out for last year. I think he showed it. I think on the defensive side of the ball, right? I think we let the foot off the gas a little bit towards the end. I think that's kind of a mentality thing, right? Like it's a team that's trying to come together and find its identity, right? Like we have a young signal caller. We've got young pieces across the line. The defense has got a couple pieces to it. So I think to me, it's all right. These guys have to learn how to win, and it's got to come over the season if we're going to win in the playoffs.
yeah. I think that's actually kind of what wanted to get into. I wanted to start with actually the defensive side of the ball because I mean, if anybody's taking heat right now, it is Jonathan Gannon. I think he kind of went back to his old ways with that prevent defense that we all don't like, or at least
Yeah,
I don't like.
You
Uh,
could tell right when the third quarter started, and
yeah.
our cornerbacks were playing. They were giving a little
Off.
too much cushion.
yeah,
The center of the field was wide open. I was like, they're rolling out the prevent already.
it
Come on.
was kind of like like what we saw a lot last year. Just like every time we get the first two downs, like it's like 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, and then someone's wide
Yeah,
open across the middle, or just get an easy first down. Every time you think the drive is gonna end, fresh set of downs. I don't know. Just if anything, I just didn't like the way that they played at the end of the game, but at the start of it, they looked like they were hawking them down. What do you guys think about the overall play from the defense?
I think what got to me was like when we what was it, the third quarter, we were up by like what, two scores, right? Two,
We
something
were,
like that, 2, 3 scores.
I believe, at one point we're up 17.
It was
So
Yeah,
3 scores, 17.
yeah,
yeah. I to be honest, I never like I was like a good lead, but then I was like in the back of my head, I'm like, once we started sputtering on offense, I didn't get comfortable. And then I think the touchdown to Chark made me think like, oh boy, here we go again, because
yeah,
it was soft coverage. He beat Slay, and I'm like, man, just run the ball, kill clock. Like, what are we doing here? So and that just goes back to my point of this. It's got to be a winning mentality team, right? Like if you're up 17, you're getting first downs, you're using the run game, you're moving the ball, and you're keeping the clock moving.
yeah.
It almost felt like once they went up 17, like you're saying, they went right into prevent defense. They started running the ball,
Yeah,
but like when they for some reason when this team goes into like clock killing mode, I think they can never score anything. They just don't thrive that way,
yeah.
despite the fact that we have such a good run defense or uh run offense. I don't know. I don't understand why that is.
Yeah.
Um,
Sanders had a great game too. I think this was a good little
Yeah,
bounce back game for him.
yeah, that was really good. We'll get into that a little bit
Yeah.
later. I actually have a couple things in the offense, but yeah, Jackson, what do you
I,
think about the defense?
this is interesting. I had a few things I wanted to talk to you guys about because I was thinking in the past we've been so good at stopping the run. I know our linebacker play has been bad, but do you guys think we've spent so much money like upgrading this linebacking core with I think specifically linebackers who can cover and maybe they don't defend the run as well. I know that maybe it has something to do with Fletcher Cox. Maybe he's getting a little old. He's not the best run defender anymore. I heard something on WIP that said when Jordan Davis was in the game, I think they were averaging like 2.9 yards per carry, and then when he was out of the game, it was like 10 yards per carry.
Yeah, I did hear
And
that stat.
there's something going on in the middle of the field. I don't know if it's just rust from the beginning of the first game, they're just trying to gel or what, but I don't know. What do you guys think the cause is? Because I like the way Kaiser White was playing. I like the linebacker play, but at the same time, I think our run defense is really the only sort of flaw that I'm seeing with our defense. Because everything else was like I was mind blown. I mean, come on, that like Bradbury's good. Bradbury's good. GJ, he's good too. I don't know. I like the defensive backs were great. I thought the coverage of the linebackers was good. I thought we were getting pressure. But I don't know. Just the run defense was a little suspect for me.
So I'm going to jump in here quickly, Brits, before you make your point. You got to give some credit to that offensive line for Detroit because that's actually a very good offensive line. It's better than advertised, and I think
Swift too.
Yeah, well, Swift, I think people knew that this guy was going to be something. He's actually a Philadelphia native too. He went to high school at Imhotep, so shouts out to DeAndre Swift. But that offensive line of Detroit, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to try and trade for DeAndre Swift because no one was looking at his offensive line. They were a top 10 unit last year, and they returned Frank. Too, right? Yeah, they returned Frank Ragnow. Penei Sewell was an All-Pro his first year in the league. So like I think there's an emphasis of, okay, our run defense needs to improve, yes, but I think we have to give credit to Detroit's offensive line because they are good.
Yeah.
And,
go ahead,
just another point on Swift. PFF gave him the highest grade for running backs of the week, so it was like we're getting burned on both ends trying to cover their run game. It seems like.
Right. Brits, you were going to say something?
No, I was actually basically what you said is what I was going to say. Honestly, the offensive line is really good. I'm pretty sure they're rated top 3 or top 4 in the league. Like,
something like that.
Coming into the season, they were rated high, and we're actually number 1. We were rated, but yeah, DeAndre Swift is a beast. He's the best player on that team. I think that's pretty obvious. We let him eat on us. I liked how I think it was the first drive he ate on us, and then like he kind of like had like a little bit after that, like he kind of slowed down a little bit. Then towards the end of the game, he started going again. But I think the first drive, and then like when they were actually like their drives that were getting going, we're missing tackles, especially on Swift. He was breaking tackles. Like I mean that was something I saw a lot. Obviously the offensive line played good, but we were not making that first tackle for him to get like only like a couple yards, and then he's once he gets in space, like what the hell are you gonna do?
He's very quick.
Yeah, I mean, so that's what I saw from that perspective. But yeah, I mean their offensive line is good. We got to step it up a little bit on the run defense, but
what did you guys think of the new additions?
Well, everybody. I think everybody had a decent game. Like I don't think anybody like stood out to me as a like a liability or anything.
That's true. I don't know. I thought Kaiser was playing out his mind. I like the fact that he tipped the ball to Bradbury. I like the fact that he got that pick in the preseason game. I really think he's going to be special. I don't know. I don't know why I'm hyping Kaiser White up, but like I don't know if you guys are feeling the same way. But I'm getting like vibes of I don't know. I haven't felt this way about a linebacker since like the first 2 games of Kiko Alonso before he came back down to earth. With him, I feel like Bradbury played good. Reddick was disruptive, maybe silently so. I love the fact that Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox like combined to get that one sack or whatever. It looked like Fletcher got hurt on the army crawl afterwards. The only thing I think we have to mention is the fact that Derek Barnett tore his ACL, right?
Yeah, he's done for the year. He's on IR.
Yeah, I think you said it, Jackson. I mean, that is a tough guy to lose, but we are really deep at that position. It sucks to lose him, but I don't think it's going to be too big of a loss, just because we build this team so much in the defensive line. We have so many guys that can just take that spot, next man up. But that's tough to see.
Thank God we signed some outside linebackers who can actually rush the passer this offseason,
Yeah.
Just to kind of...
I think for me at least, right, what stood out to me was, so Amon-Ra St. Brown was quiet up until like the third or the fourth quarter, right? And I'm assuming that has something to do with our coverage. To be honest, I think this is the best secondary we've had in a while. I think Bradbury looked as good as advertised. Play on the other side, and then obviously CJ manning the back end. Marcus Epps, I thought had a very good game at the back end too.
He
So
did.
I mean, to me, I think the secondary was something I was like, I don't know, we'll see. I think they just showed they're good as advertised, and this is the most comfortable I felt with an Eagles secondary in a long, long time.
It was actually surprising to see that Bradbury was on St. Brown the whole game, I think, because I thought we were going to
I
see
think he
Slay on him.
was, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Slay was on Chark the whole game, and they both did a good job. Obviously, they both got. I think St. Brown and Chark ended up getting touchdowns, but I mean the play that Chark scored was just a great play. I mean, it's a good catch. Slay was all over him.
Great catch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to bring up real quick was, could you guys imagine how good? Like, I know you guys were saying potentially the reason our run defense looked kind of shoddy this game was because Detroit's offensive line is like top 5 in the league, and then they also are combining that with potentially a top 5 running back. And I felt like throughout this game, until we went into prevent defense at the end, it felt like the only way they could really attack us was through their run game. And I'm just imagining this defense playing against like basically any other team in the league that doesn't have both a great offensive line and great running back combo. We might be pretty like tough to score against as long as we're not in prevent defense or whatever.
Yeah, it's tough to say because
just a lot of strength, not a lot of holes.
I mean, I agree with that statement. It's just obviously you have to look at it, when you go against a team that has a better quarterback, better receivers. So like, I guess it's a little bit of both, but the defense, as much as 35 points looks terrible, they played better than that. I think that just the scheme got a little iffy at the end, and I don't know. Week 1, I guess could be another, just I guess excuse. But overall, I mean,
optimistic 35.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
35. If you think about it, we were up 17 points twice. They never had a lead after the first touchdown. So there's one way to look at it. I don't know. I think there's a couple people on sports radio that are not happy with the 35 points against us, and that's kind of all they focused on, which kind of pissed me off. I don't know if you guys heard the same thing I did, but
I haven't listened to any sports radio today, honestly. I think Monday and Tuesdays are the worst days to do that.
It was. I always have to listen to see if they finally gonna change their rhythm and say, oh, maybe the offense played good. No, they just focus on the defense playing or letting up 35 points.
If we won the Super Bowl, they'd be like, the defense didn't play that good though.
It makes me wonder what they were saying after when we were like on that Super Bowl run, because I didn't really listen to a lot of sports talk radio back then. I want to know what they were saying. Like, were they just sitting there like, this is a fluke, we're gonna lose? Like,
I feel like that's more likely than them actually like praising the team or getting excited.
I think it legitimately is.
At least until they got to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, probably when Wentz went down, they were like, it's over.
I mean, talking.
But
with the
can we
with
talk
that
about...
Go ahead, Jackson. You got it.
No, you go.
I was gonna say with the defense, right? Something that did kind of catch my eye was towards the beginning of the game. I don't think we were getting enough pressure, and it felt like Goff was being able to pick his spots and stuff like that. So I think as a defense, right, like we're gonna lose Barnett, but we still have depth. But it truly shows that, like if we were to lose a guy, right, on the D line, like we can still make it happen. Like there's still some depth there.
Yeah. And I guess pressure was another thing to take away, because there wasn't too much pressure from the defense.
No.
Goff definitely should have got hurried up a little bit more, I think. Even like he still didn't have a great game. He had one pick, two TDs, and like 200 something yards. So he had like a bad game, but we didn't have that much pressure. So that makes me think like play a better quarterback. Maybe it doesn't go the same. Maybe he kind of eats on us a little bit more. But I don't know.
Right.
I think the defense is like, I'm happy with what I saw. It still needs improvement.
They need to get better, and that's the whole winning mentality, right? Like if you're a championship defense, like they don't score on you you don't give up a 17-point lead in the fourth, like no matter what the offense is doing, right? Like they don't, like DJ Chark doesn't get that fade, or Ross St. Brown doesn't get that touchdown. So I think that'll come over time.
Well, DJ Chark might get that fade on anyone, man. That was a nice catch.
Jackson loves
DJ Chark. That was.
Jackson loves DJ Chark. That's his guy.
He loves DJ Chark.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I think for me, summing up the defense, I think that I was optimistic with things that I saw in there. I think I'm gonna give them a pass on the bad run stopping this game. Just because there's a good offensive line, and I think that this defense is much more like quickly put together with pieces that haven't been familiarized with each other yet. More so than the offense. I think because the offense basically they just plugged in AJ Brown and it's the same offense as last year. This defense has like 10 new pieces on it. At some point,
I disagree with that. Go ahead.
at some points though, I felt like weird because with the defense because for so long I feel like the heart and soul of this defense has been Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham kind of, and I saw them both wearing those C's on their chest. But at the same time, I knew that they're not the heart and soul of that defense anymore. I feel like that like defensive back group with Slay at the top and everybody and all the young guys that we're adding to this team, I think they're emerging as like the true leaders of this team. And I don't know, I know they have the C on their chest. I just thought it's kind of like you could recognize just from the first game this year that this is sort of like a changing of leadership season on our
Changing of the guard.
defense. Yeah, changing the guard.
Well, I want to kind of hear what you disagreed with about that, Harsha.
So if our offense was the same as last year, I don't think Devontae Smith would have put up a big fat goose egg because that man was eating last year. So I think go ahead.
I agree. I just meant strictly personnel wise.
Personnel wise, okay, fair. Then I agree with you there. It was just AJ Brown.
Yeah.
Scheme wise, yeah. I think adding Steichen or whatever, giving him more power, has probably changed our dynamic or whatever on offense. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the way he used them, and that's probably a good way to go into the offense. Talk about week 1, 38 points. I'm pretty sure there was only one other team that scored more points than us, and it was the Chiefs. So in good company there. So, I mean, the offense absolutely rolled on a team we should roll, but still 38 points in week 1. I think a lot of people were saying it. It's tough to do because, people weren't playing in preseason. We don't really have that, like, mid-season form yet, obviously. And to put up 38 points and have 4 different rushing touchdowns, or 4 different players get a rushing touchdown, I think obviously the running game is still there. We knew it was going to be there. We didn't know how much it was going to be there. We thought maybe we'd go 50-50, which we kind of did. I mean, it was pretty split with the total yards and stuff. Obviously, A.J. Brown getting a ton of that. But yeah, I mean, A.J. Brown over 150 yards. I think he tied his career single game record in the first game with us, which is wonderful to see. Jalen looked pretty good, I'd say. I would give him like a solid B. Yeah, he could have been better. Could have been better. Miles Sanders looking like the Miles Sanders we all have wanted to see for the last couple of years. I know that actually surprised me because I know he was iffy in the offseason with injuries and stuff, like he always is.
Hamstrings, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, well, I want to hear you guys' thoughts on the offense because that's what we, that's what everybody wants to see. That's what everybody wants to hear about.
I was kind of surprised at how many touches Kenny Gainwell got up until like the fourth quarter. Then I think Boston Scott came in. So shout out to your boy in fantasy. I have him on my roster, so he's a solid little backup back.
I think he's looking like the clear number 2 for a little bit there.
He did. I think Boston Scott came in and got some work at the end, but that was another surprise for me that Kenny Gainwell was getting that much work, especially when last year.
It was more of a 2-headed approach than 3-headed, like I think we thought going into the year. Definitely.
Right. We thought it was going to be Sanders, Scott, and then Gainwell maybe out of the backfield as like a receiving back. But I think this game it was Sanders getting a bulk of the carries and then Gainwell mixing in there on some receiving downs. So yeah, I'm interested to see how Steichen and Sirianni kind of mix up the backfield going forward. If it's truly a hot hand type of thing, or is Gainwell really the second back?
Yeah, I mean,
I actually think I would if I were to weigh in on that, I think that I think what we're seeing is I think Gainwell's definitely taking over that role. I mean, they drafted him pretty high last year, and I heard a stat that he had the highest yards per touch in like the league out of like qualified players last season.
Wow.
So he was doing really good with his touches. So I'm not surprised that they're trying to get him the ball more. And I mean, I love Boston Scott, but I think he's a little bit more one-dimensional than Gainwell is, and so I definitely wouldn't mind seeing Gainwell move into that number 2 slot. one thing I wanted to bring up to you guys that I heard on the radio regarding Hurts, because I saw you, Harsha, going like, I don't know, like how good he did, and I kind of agree. I feel like somebody said it on WIP today, and I agreed with their take. It was that Jalen Hurts kind of played the exact same game he played last year, where he just kind of hones in on the number one receiver, throws it to Goddard every once in a while, tosses a
Yeah,
couple screens. The only difference is that his number one receiver that he's honing in on is significantly better this year.
yeah.
It,
You took the words out of my mouth. I kind of
E-
felt that way too.
Even like that throw where he threw it, and it was like basically skimming off the turf, and AJ just like leaned down, scooped it up, and kept going. Like that was a bad throw that we would that like he would have thrown last year. It would have been a 3 and out, but we have AJ Brown now, and he's just going to save that. Like he's going to save Hurts' ass a little bit.
yeah, I, it's hard to disagree with that because I mean, it did look like he was just, oh, my first guy's not open. I'm taking off running. I mean, he had 17
Yeah,
carries. 17 carries. It's a lot.
So many.
That's a lot of carries, and it's also.
yeah.
And one thing I've heard a lot is that's not sustainable, and it's hard to disagree with that because I don't think 17 carries a game is sustainable at all
No,
for a
absolutely
quarterback.
not.
You can't hear 17 carries from a quarterback and think he needed to run all 17 of those times.
There was a couple design plays in there, obviously, but yeah, I mean that's he's running too much. I mean it's nice to see that you know AJ Brown can work with this team, obviously, but I would have liked to see a little bit more out of Jalen, just get everybody else involved. Excuse me, everybody else involved.
Devontae Smith.
Yeah, Devontae Smith. Goddard had a little bit of a quiet game as well. I think he had a couple chunk plays. But other than
Yeah,
that, he didn't get too many targets.
And those
Um,
chunk plays were kind of off of screens too.
yeah, he was
they
really
were.
making it
Yep.
happen by himself. Um, yeah, he's got to change a little bit. I mean, I think we all if he plays the same way he did last year, it's not like he's going to be a bad quarterback, but he's not going to be the guy we want him to see him change into. You know?
What I'm scared of is that he's like around Dak's level, which I feel like is like a good quarterback, but not good enough to win when you're paying them that much money. Because like I feel like he's not worth like 40, 50 million. He's like
No.
something like 25 million or something like that. I don't know, but like
That's the
You know
problem,
he's
though.
going to ask for the
Quarterbacks,
40-50.
yeah, because quarterbacks don't get paid that mid-level anymore. You
Yeah.
know,
I
like
know he's gonna ask for that 40, 50, and it'll kill the team, and I think Howie knows that.
Right.
it's tough to it's
We're,
tough. I mean,
we're
it's week one though. You know.
Yeah, I mean
QB
those are
Factory,
problems
boys.
for down the road.
QB Factory, boys.
Who's our
Minshew's up next.
yeah? Minshew's gonna come in. Ugh.
Yeah.
I mean,
To the Hurts point, though, right? I think there's one play that sticks out in my mind. I think it was the third down play where it essentially, like, I mean, it was a busted play. Like, it was covered, but I think there were like three Lions coming in on him, and they tried to do a screen to Smith. It was like late in the fourth. And, like, you could tell, it was like busted play. Like, he just went to his first read to just get rid of the ball. And, like, I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, busted play. Like, why, like, as a quarterback, right? Like, you should be able to, like, your pre snap reads have to be better on that, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't just go with your first read and just, like, all right, like, busted play and all, okay, fine, get out, right? Like, I don't want you getting injured, but, like, to Jackson's point, and Britt, I think you brought this up too. Like, we want Jalen Hurts to go into that quarterback who can make those reads at the line, right? Like, as much as we're gonna bash Dak for being a Dallas Cowboy, and rightly so, right? Like, I think over the course of time, he's been able to develop his pre-snap reads and audible out of stuff, right? That to me is the next step for Hurts. Is okay, instead of that third down play being a busted play, I read the defense, and then I audible into something better rather than a screen to Devontae Smith where, okay, if a weak side blitz comes, all right, this play's busted, we got to punt, right? And I think that situation in the game was super critical because we needed to move the ball. Like, it was a third and short, and we needed to move the ball to keep the clock moving.
Yeah. I think that's real quick, Jackson. I think that's exactly. I think you're right, and also that is something that doesn't get brought up enough. Is his just like his just QB IQ really? I don't think it's there yet. Well, it's definitely not there yet where it needs to be. But
Mhm.
I mean, you see all these guys like I don't think he doesn't command the line of scrimmage at all really. You know, you don't really see that from him, which is tough
Nah,
because I guess we'll go say it's his third year but I mean, like second full year. I mean, this is when it's supposed to be happening now. Like you're supposed to be able to read these plays,
Really, the
see
defense. Yep.
see at least find someone who's going to be able to get you a quick 4 yards instead of making just running a broken play. You know, like
Right.
okay, this guy like these guys are like collapsing on the left side. Like Dallas Goedert's going to be open for at least like 3 or 4 yards. Let's go to the next play. You know. Like
Right.
that's better than throwing a bad screen, losing yards, like just throwing it away. Like it's all about
Mm.
minimizing minimizing the minimizing your mistakes, but like also like getting yards getting 3-4 yards when instead of 0. You know.
Yeah. I think
What you
Justin
guys are saying,
Herbert. I was
I
gonna say
was,
Justin Herbert's a super good example of someone who's been able to read the line of scrimmage, especially in his second year, and he's doing a heck of a job at it.
Yeah.
Jackson, go ahead.
yeah, and to what you guys are saying, I feel like Jalen just sort of goes up to the line and he just sort of wings it. He's like, if I see somebody open, I'm gonna throw it to them. I'm gonna primarily be looking at my primary targets. And
Yeah.
if he's not open, I'm gonna run it. And it just it's not like you guys are saying. It's just not smart. We need somebody who can come up to the line, read the defense. If they see something that they like, switch the play, set up an audible, and take advantage of it. I feel like every quarterback, even Wentz, would go up and he would change the play at the line of scrimmage because he saw something that he liked. I feel like
Right.
most times your offensive coach is calling a play because he's expecting the defense to play a certain way. But if you get up there and the defense isn't playing that way, you have to know like a play that you can audible into so that you can still get yards on that play. It's not just a broken play. It's just like he needs to go up there and he needs to take charge of the offense. Right now, he's just going in there and playing.
Yeah. It reminds me of Mike Vick when he was with Atlanta, where it was okay. Algie Crumpler's not open. All right, run.
Yeah. Pretty much.
What one thing I don't want to get lost on this just muddled confusion of like whether Jalen Hurts is good or bad because we win, even though he looks like he's not playing well. I think AJ Brown is probably almost as good as T.O. was when he was here. He's the best receiver we've had since T.O. I think he looks like he's probably better than Alshon was when he was here. I like his play more than I
Definitely.
like. I love Deshaun Jackson. I think Deshaun
I
Jackson
was just
played
about to say
amazingly.
that.
We
Yeah.
we can't forget about Deshaun, but I personally like the type of receiver that AJ is more than Deshaun. Although I think we can say that it's premature to say he's better than Deshaun at this point.
Yeah, he's got to do it. I mean, I think AJ is more of a like the prototypical one, right? Like big physicals, got some speed, yards after catch and stuff like that. I think with Deshaun was more of a speedster, right? And his
Yeah.
type of one, like he was more of a speedster, but like the speedster ones are like Antonio Brown in his prime.
Tyreek Hill,
I
baby.
think who was that?
Not as fast, but what?
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill, yeah, speedster one who can run those underneath routes and like beat guys with his foot, beat guys on the routes. Right, I felt like Deshaun was more of like, okay, I'm faster than you, try and keep up with me type of wideout.
Yeah. I
And then
AJ Brown to me is exactly what you say. Okay, so you draft a guy, right? And you see like he can do anything, any route tree. Like any route
Yeah,
tree, he can like you can draw up any play and he'll get open. Deshaun Jackson was not that. It was, he had specific
agreed.
plays to like disguise him so he could get open over the top. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think AJ Brown is going to end up going down as like easily one of the best receivers we've ever had. I mean, he's already proven it in the first 3 years in the league, 1,000 yards each year, basically. Also with missing some games, but it's hard
Mm-hmm.
not to be excited about what you just saw out of him, especially with Jalen not playing his best game with passing the ball.
I think he's like our secretariat, dude. He's like he's big, he's strong, he's fast, and he can just fucking win anything, dude. I fucking love him. I'm glad to have him on the offense. I think he's easily our best offensive player. It's not even a contest.
Oh
I
yeah,
thought.
definitely.
I mean, I'm not including the line, just our offensive skill players. But I
Who
don't
would
know.
you say,
I
Yeah.
Harsha?
love having him.
No, I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, if you're talking about offense as a whole, I'm actually gonna vote Jason Kelsey or Lane Johnson. But if we're talking offensive
Okay.
skill players, AJ Brown.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
AJ Brown, not even close. Like I think he like if you let's say for example if you wanted to run play action, right, like I would trust AJ Brown to go get open on that deep crossing route. okay, hey, I need you to run a 5 yard out in the 2 minute drill and get open, he can do it, right? Like he's not a player that has to come off for certain situations. You can leave him on there and he'll get the job done. And that's what I'm most excited about.
Yep.
I gotta ask you guys, were you guys also, when they said 4 touchdowns running from 4 different players was like tying our record, were you guys also hoping they were like, just get him down into the red zone, run it to Mailata, break the freaking record? I was just sitting there like, come on, let's do it.
I didn't think of that, but that would have been great.
Or even Kelsey.
Yeah.
My buddy and I were watching the game, and he was like, "Why don't they have Jordan Mailata at fullback? He played Aussie rules football."
Dude.
Which is an interesting idea when you think about it, right? Because like the man's carried a football before, so like you could put him back there and have some fun. So
That's interesting.
I don't know if they have that in the playbook, but I feel like that's got to be drawn up at some point.
How the
Just a
hell-
Mailata power play.
Oh, you know
I
what I
feel
would
like
love?
Jerome Bettis.
I would love, like, even though it's like pretty much, I don't know how you disguise this, but like put him at the fullback position, have Miles behind him, and then just like do like one of those like fake left to the halfback, and then right back to the
And then
fullback.
pitch it.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
like just hand
I
it
think
back
it's
off to him.
reverse or something.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
just fucking put it in his hands. And how the hell do you stop him? Like at that
Nah,
point
you
for like
can't.
2 yards, 1 yard. We could have did that at the end of the game, even though we ended up getting the QB sneak. But
Right.
It's like, A, how do you just like disguise it because he's so fucking
I
big?
know
It's like,
it's like he's out there.
what do you-
Obviously, he's gonna get the ball.
what do you put a wig on him or something? And then it's like, B, do you even need to disguise it because he's so big?
No.
It's like he might just destroy you.
Or we just start putting him out there all the time, and then they don't know if we're gonna give it to him.
Yeah. I remember him
A little
so
too
when they
back set.
when they drafted him, they played. I think the draft coverage played his highlights. I think it was like Aussie rules football. I forget what it was, but here's this guy just bowling over people, and I'm like, wait, he's gonna be a tackle? What?
Dude, oh, I love Mailata,
Wait.
man.
Imagine this, you guys. Once Dillard comes back, it's like we've got Dillard and Lane Johnson in as the tackles, and in the backfield we've got a 2-back set with Mailata on the left and Boston Scott on the right, and you're like, who the fuck are they gonna give it to?
Well,
okay.
I mean, Dillard might be trade bait though, because I mean, I think what's his face? The Jets are down 2 left tackles right now, so they might come in with an offer.
I could definitely
So
see
we'll
that.
see, but we'll see if Dillard's here because I think the Jets are going to make an offer, especially because Joe Douglas is running that operation, and I think I believe Joe Douglas was here when we drafted Dillard, right?
Yeah, I think he was.
I think he was too.
Yeah.
'Cause it
was
wasn't
around
that
that time,
long
at
ago.
least. Would you guys rather take picks for Dillard or keep him knowing that we have a solid tackle to back up either Mailata or Johnson if they go down?
I mean, is that tackle worth $12.9 million or whatever the heck his cap hit is this year because they picked up the 5th-year option?
Only
That's a
if
good
one
question.
of them gets hurt. In that case, yes. If not, then no.
Let me take. I have my computer in front of me. I'll take a look at his cap hit.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, I stand corrected. It's not that much this year. Okay, that's his cap hit. Okay, so they didn't pick up his 5th-year option, but his cap hit this year so his 5th-year option would have been 12, but his cap hit this year is only $3 million.
Oh,
I
that's
wouldn't
worth
trade him.
it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wouldn't trade him in that case.
That's cheap for
yeah.
him,
Mhm.
I mean,
especially because in training camp they were saying that he was actually doing pretty good this year.
yeah.
Yeah.
Going
I
back
was-
a little bit, actually. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say too, like if one of our guards decides to go down this year, right? Like I don't know if he can flex into guard, but like he's a swing offensive lineman. Like we learned a couple years ago that like, man, if someone goes down, we need depth.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh yeah.
and we've been pretty good at having the depth in the lines. Like, we've never been really screwed when someone goes down in a while, I feel like.
Well, that's why I want to keep that going. I don't want to deplete the trenches at all, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If we
yeah,
don't
it's not a bad
We've
idea.
had some bad injury seasons with the line, too. Like,
speaking of recent trade, I've got a question for you guys. Obviously we just traded Rager to the Vikings before our last game, and I don't know if you guys heard the the Vikings
God.
coach's quotes about Rager, about how he's so thick and bulky and strong. I don't know. It sounded kind of
I haven't
sus,
heard
and he was
this.
just like, really. Somebody's got to look up these quotes. They were ridiculous. But he was basically talking about how he's been salivating over Jalen Rager as a returner since he's gotten into the league. But for me, I felt like Covey yesterday was better than Rager has been as a returner in like his whole career. I don't know. How much was he salivating over Covey? Because Rager, I don't know. Am I wrong? I feel like Rager wasn't that great of a returner, and Covey actually looked pretty good yesterday.
Did Rager play?
He did. He played for the Vikings. He was the return man.
Oh, he was the return man? Okay.
Yeah.
Did he do anything special? Because I barely watched that game.
Yeah. I'd have to take a look at the box score, but I didn't hear anything.
Okay. Okay, so we
Let me
talked.
look up a vote for you guys. Or do what you got to do.
Yeah, no. I was just saying, we talked a lot about Jalen Hurts and how he has to improve, and he's still not exactly where we want him to be. But I think there was one. Obviously, we scored 38 points, but other than that, there was one thing I wanted to touch on. I think it was in the late third quarter, I believe, where we were up 17. They scored, made it a 10-point game, and the offense goes out there and they score a touchdown. They go out there. Okay. How we respond from this? Like it's now is a 10-point game. It's 2 scores. They go right back out there. They march down the field. They score another touchdown. It's the three score game again. That's what I like to see out of the offense. I don't like to see them. Okay, I thought we were up 17. Like we don't have to score any points. We already have 31. Like they go out there. They score a touchdown immediately. I think it only took them like 4 minutes. And I don't know. I that's the teams that win in the NFL. I feel like is when they respond, you respond. That's like a lot what we saw in the Super Bowl against the Patriots. We knew we were gonna have to score points. We couldn't let them just fucking march or back us down after they score a touchdown. Then we go 3 and out. I don't know. That was one of the best parts of the game. I think that I took away from the offense is that they had 31 points, and guess what? They scored 7 more, and then that's what ended up winning us the game.
It's big that we won a close game. I think good teams win close games. And to not fall victim to the comeback in that situation, it's like so much is riding on this team. There's a lot of pressure going into it. People are saying we're Super Bowl contenders. Eagles fans are like, you deserve to lose to the Lions because you didn't practice hard enough. I feel like there was so much pride and emotions on this team, like riding on this game, that the fact that they didn't buckle and they stood and withstood the assault from the Lions. I don't know. I think
the
I think
Hard
that's good.
Knocks Kool-Aid.
Yeah, they weren't drinking it. I like that a lot.
I think the Lions fans are definitely drinking that Hard Knocks Kool-Aid because I won 100 crisp ones off my Lions fan friend.
Oh jeez.
Like people were so high on the Lions.
Easy money,
and they're
man.
like, let's calm down here. They're still the Lions, okay? They haven't won anything yet.
Yeah.
Literally haven't won anything yet. They're still 0-1. Okay,
Jeez.
so I mean, other than that, offense scored 38 points. Defense has some work to do, but we're one of those guys. What can we say?
Yeah.
We're one of them.
What do you guys think about this Vikings game coming up?
It's a tough.
The return of Rager, actually.
The return of Rager.
Speaking of devil,
it's a quick return.
just for reference, there were 2 quotes I wanted to say. One was wait, where is it? Give me 1 second. He said, shoot. Between Rager, CeeDee Lamb, and Brandon Aiyuk, I had those guys really at the top of my list as the top punt returners coming out of the 2020 draft, and I think Rager was number 1 in my book. What he offers is an immediate guy that spooks the punt team. He has the speed to race for the edge. He can attack you vertically. He can beat you with speed. He's a guy that's very confident back there. Do you guys agree?
He looked anything but confident with us, and I don't think anybody was scared of him. So.
Did you guys ever see him even return it? Anything besides like a fair catch?
He had one punt return touchdown, and other than that, everything was terrible. Like literally, it was not good. It wasn't good. It wasn't decent. It was bad.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know obviously this is what they're gonna say when you pick up a guy. Like you can't just shit on him. But yeah, I mean Rager's Rager. He's still gonna be Rager. Unless
check your trade offers.
Oh no. What's Harsha got in store for me? Live on the pod.
Trying to sabotage the podcast by sending us trade offers. Joke's on you, my phone's dead.
Oh man.
Trade St. Brown for Dallas Goedert.
What do you So what do you guys think about this Vikings matchup? I feel like I'm a little bit obviously nervous about Slay on
Jay
Jefferson. I
Jetta.
just don't know if anybody can slow him down, But overall, I feel like I'm pretty confident that we're going to win this game still.
Here's what I'll say. This is a big test because I don't know
Huge
if you guys
test.
have heard me talk about it, but I can't remember if I mentioned on the podcast. The Vikings are good. I'm high on the Vikings this year, and I was even before they beat the Packers in Week 1. I said they were going to win the North. I said that Kirk Cousins is going to have a much better year with a new offensive coach, and they came out and beat the Packers.
You sound like Michael Irvin,
If
dude.
we win if we win this game,
I was just about to say that.
if we win this game, that's huge. I mean, like
yeah.
going against a high-powered offense, I think it's a test the defense needs. And I mean, they got a good pass rush. I don't think their secondary's too good. So hopefully, Devontae and AJ can get out there and make something happen. But it's gonna be a tough game. We're at home, so Monday night game, spotlight's on. We'll see how they do. I think we definitely can win this game. I'm not saying we can't beat the Vikings, but it's
I
gonna
mean,
be
this
tough.
is a playoff. I mean, this is arguably a playoff team in the Vikings, right? So this is like you said, Brits. This is a good test. Like, are these guys ready? Like last year, we made the playoffs, right? Like you can judge the merits of it any which way. We got in,
Yeah.
right? This year, the step forward is okay. You have to beat a playoff team. If you want to beat a playoff team, you got to test yourself, right? Like Monday night against the Vikings, like you're going up against a top 3 wideout. There's a top 10 back in that backfield. Kirk Cousins is no slouch. They've got weapons on the offense. So, this is for your defense to step up and say, yeah, we're for real.
Yeah.
How do you guys think I know we were talking about how we were giving the run defense like another go at it this week. They got Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook's good. I don't think their offensive line is as good as the Lions was, though. Do you think we'll fare better? I actually think Dalvin Cook might not be as good as Swift is at this point.
It's tough to say because that offense is going to be so pass heavy. I mean, like Dalvin Cook obviously is going to get his, but
Mhm.
it's going to come down to the secondary, and it's going to come down to pressure, QB pressure. We need the pressure,
I
Kirk
agree.
Cousins. We need the defensive line to get a couple sacks. I want to see it early too. I don't want to see it late in the game where like Reddick gets his first tackle for a loss like in the third quarter. Like let's see something happen early. Let's scare him a little bit.
And Harsha, I wanted to say I totally agree with you. I feel like this Lions game was like the test. It's like, okay, this isn't the dream team, right? So it's like, okay, we're not. We're actually going to be okay. And then this game, it's like, are they legit or not?
Yeah. So
Are the
I
Eagles
just
legit or
looked
not?
up offense.
Okay, good. Sorry.
Yeah, the Eagles. I was gonna say I just looked up the offensive line rankings, and the Vikings are ranked 26th right now, but I think they're one of their weak links is they've got a left tackle who isn't that good in pass protection. So Brits, to your point, we got to get after Cousins because
Oh yeah.
there's only like Slay and Bradbury are good corners, but there's only so much you can hang with when it comes to Justin Jefferson because that man is a problem.
Yeah, he's going to be a problem against us too. He's gonna get 100 yards like he always does.
Yeah.
Like Thielen's
Yep.
no slouch either, so like we got to cover him.
We can't let Kirk have any time back there. We got to get to him quick.
That's
And
the
I
key.
think if this defensive line is like as good as we think it is or it's supposed to be, we should be able to, right?
Mhm.
Absolutely, we should be able to. And if we do, okay, I'll say this: if we don't, we're gonna lose the game. Like I think that's just the key to the game. If we don't get to Kirk Cousins and we let him have we don't get any sacks, we had like 1 sack last game. I mean, something like that. If we don't get any pressure on him early, this is going to be a really tough game to win.
Agreed.
I mean, wait, am I just picturing this in my head? Like, we do have to get after him because I don't know if I'm just picturing this in my head as a nightmare or this actually happened. We let Goff run for like 10 yards on us, didn't we?
We did.
He had a scramble, I think, because we were in prevent defense, right? And prevent, it's just soft in the middle of the field. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a
but I
fluke,
mean,
but
yeah, Cousins is a bit more mobile than Goff, but not by much. I think I would take Kirk Cousins over Jared Goff. I think he's a better passer and a better runner. But at the end of the day, right, like if you get after, you just have to get after him and make him uncomfortable back there. I think once you do that, like, all right, game on. Like, I think it's your core. Like, if you get after him, right, and you make him uncomfortable, it's less time for him to find a Jefferson, a Thielen, right? Like, he might get it. Like, if he gets a dump off to Dalvin Cook and Dalvin Cook just outruns everybody, okay,
Oh
like,
well, yeah.
I can live with that, right? But like, if he's back there picking us apart, like, it's gonna be a long night.
Yeah, it can't be. We can't go back into that. I always think about the Raiders game last year where Derek Carr was just
Oh
picking us apart, dude. Just like
God,
God.
85% completion percentage or something. I'm like, what are we
I was
doing?
literally torture. I will say that I'm more optimistic with this team's ability to cover for like 3 or 4 seconds than than I was last year's team. I think like a lot more. I think if we do get the pressure, I think our defensive backs will be able to cover them relatively well up until he gets flustered.
right?
It's gonna be as far as our offense. I don't see us having too much issues scoring against them. I mean, they have some. I forget his name. They have a
Mhm.
decent. They have a different defensive tackle. I can't remember his name, but they just signed him. Um, they can get some pressure, but I think AJ Brown should be fine. They don't have any star corners. Devontae Smith is obviously a great player to have as as your number two. I, I can see us scoring like 20, 26, 27 points, and then if that's enough, who knows? But it's gonna come down to the defense.
What are you guys
Yeah,
projecting for the final for it?
I think I'm gonna stick with that offensive numbers, 26, 27 points. Um,
You don't think it's gonna be another shootout?
I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think we're gonna get that 30 number again. But it's tough because I obviously want to predict a win. It's gonna be close, man. Like I think both teams are gonna be. It's gonna come down to the final drive or something like that. And it's gonna be like a 28, like 25 game or 28-24 game, something like that. Someone's gonna score a touchdown. Someone's gonna kick a field goal. I think it's gonna be a close game. But
yeah.
but
I
Eagles are
got
gonna win.
Birds 26-23, just like Bird said. It's gonna be close, and I think we do have enough to get this one, but they like you can't you have to play smart winning football, right? Like, you get like smart winning football is, if I'm in the lead, I run clock, I keep it on the ground, right? Like, I don't let the offense stagnate.
Right.
I
Jackson, you got
I think
anything?
this is gonna be a statement game. I'm predicting a blowout.
Surprise, surprise.
I think Eagles are gonna win. Like, not a total blowout, but I think Eagles might win like 35-17.
You weren't gonna go 38-7, like the NFC Championship
What
game?
what about
Uh,
40-6?
I think I really no. I'm not gonna. I can't discount their offense. Their offense is good. I just think that I really do think we're gonna be able to get some pressure, and our defensive backs are gonna be able to, hold on until that pressure reaches there. I don't think they're gonna be able to score that much on us.
If we blow out the Vikings, you're gonna see us go up in the power rankings a lot. A lot.
Yeah.
I think statement game, man. I don't know. I think the Lions were better than people think they are, and that we're a good team.
I definitely think we're a good team, but we're playing against another good team, so it's gonna.
I
I
mean,
think I
Yeah.
would love to see a statement game like that. Trust me. I mean, I'll be hyped up on a Monday night.
Kirk Cousins could throw 8 touchdowns any night, apparently. So you never know. You never know what's gonna happen.
Michael Irvin supports that statement.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Michael Irvin says 10
MVP,
probably.
MVP. I have to agree with him though. I think Kirk's gonna have a good year, but not against us. Go Birds.
No.
Yeah, no.
All
Can't do
right,
anything against the secondary.
you guys got anything else? I think we're kind of slowly coming to an end here.
Yeah, no,
This is
nothing.
like I feel like this is a smooth landing. There's no turbulence
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
now.
Well, Caputi's too
Yep.
wild, dude. You can't hold that guy back.
We can't win with that cat.
Booty tag.
All right, guys. Well, if nobody's got anything left, I think this is a smooth launch and a smooth landing. We'll see you next
Hey.
week. What you got, Jackson?
I was gonna say it's nice. I feel like usually we're freaking out, but like the Sixers, they're like I honestly I
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to freak us out right now and start anything, but I'm feeling good about the Sixers coming into the season. I'm feeling good about the Eagles right now. I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling going into this week. I hope
like
you guys
that.
are as well.
All's good in Philadelphia.
Yes.
Dude, that Jewel pen's hitting this man hard. Some positive vibes.
Positive vibes for
Love
Jackson.
the Jewel.
Positive vibes for Jackson. Positive vibes for the Philly Escape Pod. Go Birds. Monday night game. We predicted wins. We've launched. We've landed. We'll see you guys next time.
Woo!
See ya. Brits, trade me Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I'll think about it.